Так, всем привет, и сегодня продолжаем сюжетку. Скорее всего, это последнее будет видео. Потому что я посмотрел, что, скорее всего, я где-то за час с чем-то пройду. Так, не будем медлить, продолжим.
It seems you've forgotten just what kind of place the Fortress of... Stand on the central plate.
Wait, is there a secret mechanism or... Whoa! So, this is the Forbidden Zone? Honestly, for a place so well hidden, Paimon sure doesn't see anything special. What a huge door!
There are 3 such isolation gates in total. Generally speaking, I'm the only one who's allowed to go inside. Hence the name, Forbidden. Am I correct to assume you're going to run on back and tell your little Fatui friends everything?
Well, Paimon wasn't thinking...
Well, I'd advise you wait until you've seen...
Что вверху у нас? Какая-то фигня.
Huh, so there's a switch on the side.
Stand back.
Йоу. Что-то мне это экономия
Just went up one by one.
Go on, have a look.
Бро, брать, вы экономию. Или как она называется? Подонадзумой.
I've been interested in what lies beyond that gate ever since I assumed leadership of the Fortress of Meripede. Of course, it would be unwise to recklessly open it, but it'd also be risky and negligent. The readings on that dashboard have not budged since the day when I first laid eyes on this place. But over the past year, the needle has crept upwards from its original position, likely because normally I would have ignored it, but I happened to have some free time when I noticed it, so I investigated. Any guesses what the reading could be tracking? Very reasonable guesses. I've considered both of those as well. The temperature should vary with weather and climate changes, so for something that rarely shifts, the water pressure is more likely. We ran a few tests to increase. Later on, a few more possibilities occurred to me, such as a potential connection with the primordial sea. I began to make over the past few days, the needle has moved again. With that, and the symptoms that Fremine displayed after leaving the fortress, I can now confidently conclude that the readings represent the concentration of primordial seawater in the seawater nearby.
The concentration of primordial seawater? But...
And that is precisely the problem. We're at the bottom of the sea, and now we're surrounded by toxic seawater. Somehow, primordial seawater got mixed in, and the concentration... Yes. That's right.
But forget about the 2 of us. Not even Novelette knows where the primordial sea could be. Oh.
Seems like you've figured it out. I believe the primordial sea lies directly beneath this sluice gate. For some reason, the primordial seawater levels have risen significantly, and the indicators are now red. Although the gate still stands, some primordial seawater has already leaked out and mixed into the sea around us. If this continues, soon it will no longer be able to hold back the primordial sea at all. Yeah, you know what the legends say. If this place falls, then everyone in Fontaine will be turned into puddle.
But that's just too weird! Why would the Fortress of Meripede be built right
Your expression tells me you think this might be part of a vast, complicated conspiracy. To be honest, you might. It's just that the secret of the Forbidden Zone had been long forgotten by the nation before I rediscovered it with my research. There's no single founder of the Fortress of Meripede in any traditional sense. What we know about its history has been left up. When the previous Hydro Archon, Egeria, ruled the land, all convicted criminals from Fontaine were exiled. The people drove the criminals away like a wolf pack. The criminals received no sympathy of any kind from the people. They were exiled to the desolate seaside, where they experienced. Some of them began to repent, and prayed to the Hydro Archon, asking if there was still anything they could do. The Hydro Archon took pity on them, and said, and so, leaning on the power of the Hydro Archon, they gathered underneath the sea, and began. As the number of exiles increased, more and more people joined the community. When the first group of exiles died, they left yet the Hydro Archon continued to lend her support, allowing the fortress and what it stood for to continue growing ever larger. Before long, and with that, the people here stopped referring to the fortress as a prison. They saw themselves as repenting sinners, but as time went on, people also realized that the fortress was a lonely place. Once they had finished serving their sentences, some people left and some others chose to stay. They'd find some idle position and let their withered souls fade away with the ancient secrets of the past. After many, many centuries, few people still remember the reason for the fortress's founding. Now they just see it as now and again, researchers manage to break one law or another and live out their days in the fortress. I learned all this from an elderly historian.
But now you know every part of that history is true.
Indeed. It's just as the prophecy says. If this gate fails, then everyone will be dissolved. To be frank, not really. But sadly, that hasn't stopped this prophecy from prophecies are troublesome things. Just hearing one will create the first wave of panic. Seeing signs of it will bring about the second, and actually witnessing it in real time. Let's go somewhere else. I want to show you. This is it.
Your Grace, perfect timing. The results from our—
Wait, Jurier, he's not alone!
Huh? Lorvine and Jurian?
No need to panic, you two. I've already told them about our plan.
What? After you warned us not to tell a single soul—
I'm skeptical as well. Are you sure they are trustworthy?
The results speak for themselves, don't they? These two may already know more than you could ever imagine.
All right then, if Your Grace insists.
They seem harmless enough, so I'll trust them for now.
Well, how about some reintroductions? This is Jurier, one of the highest-ranked researchers from the Fontaine Research Institute. He used to work under Edwin. I trust that you've heard of Edwin? Good. Saves me a bit of time explaining. Edwin's main areas of research were archaeum and gravimeters. As his assistant, Jurier is quite familiar with them as well. I hired him to be my technical consultant.
You want to blow up the—
Ah, what a lovely idea. I'm already imagining it in my—
Gotta admit,
Guys, focus! Focus!
That taskmaster over there is Miss Lorvine, and is also one of my technical consultants. While Jurier used to be—
Ooh, are they together?
See, everyone keeps asking this question. Are you too sure you're not a couple and just using—
Your Grace, I am not—
if I dated her, I'd officially be madder than Edwin.
Jeez, forget I said anything then. Follow me.
Whoa, there's another door that goes right up.
Your constant amazement makes it seem like the fortress can do anything.
But Paimon really thinks everything's super cool.
Well, let's spice it up a bit. And here you go.
What a huge
Yep.
ship! This is also a production zone that Paimon's never seen before. What's—
How much do you know about Fontanian history?
not much at all.
Well, then maybe you haven't heard the story of ancient Lemuria. To give you a quick rundown, Fontaine used to be ruled by the Lemurian dynasty. According to legend, The Lemurian king Remus came to this land after being inspired by divine revelation and found the seer Sibila, who had taken on the form of a golden bee. He called his nation Lemuria and used the Fortuna to incessantly search for new tribes and islands.
There's a ship in this story too?
Where there's water, there'll be ships. People believe that hope can always be found.
Do you believe that too?
To a point, I think. As you've already seen, I have a whole factory's worth of labor, materials, and tech. So the moment I began to speculate that the primordial sea might lie underneath the gate, I also
Were you inspired by the legendary Fortuna?
Maybe. Fontanians need something to hold on to cope with the impending disaster. Were the workers to find out the truth behind this ship, riots would destroy the fortress faster than any catastrophe. As the fortress's administrator, I'd never make such a reckless call. All right, that's enough talking for now. I'll need another 3 cups of tea to soothe my throat. Do you have any other? Seems like you're good. I'll leave you here for now.
Oh,
No worries. But don't forget, it's up to you whether or not you want to share what you just saw. What you do from here on out will likely affect those...
Yeah, we'll put a lot of thought into it for sure.
Great. I look forward...
We're back!
Welcome back. Do you want a cup of tea?
How can you be so much like Risley, always drinking tea?
Huh. Actually, now that you mention it, while I was sedated, I could still barely hear 2 people talking next to me.
Must have been Risley and Seishween.
Yeah, I heard 1 male voice and 1 female, so it...
I really can't make... So, Traveler, Paimon, were you able to learn anything?
Yeah, he explained everything.
Very well. Then, would you mind checking your answers against my speculations? Yeah, I took the time to rest, so...
Nobody else is around, and Miss Sejuin is also busy with something.
All right, then I'll posit my theories. I asked myself 3 Firstly, why was Fremine affected by the primordial seawater? It was because he dove into the sea. My theory...
Whoa, he's good.
That's our Lenny.
Secondly, Risley's attitude changed dramatically during the course of our stay here. He ignored us completely at first. I spent quite a long time thinking about this. If he has been monitoring the Fatui since the very beginning, he probably ignored us at first because... What's more, the Fortress of Meripede is not part of Fontaine's court system, nor does it report to Udex Nervulet. As long as the fortress doesn't do anything about Master Child's disappearance, Father can use it to pressure the Fontaine authorities. And while the 2 factions, if I had to guess, he probably has something that he's working on himself. It's likely related...
You're super smart.
Thanks so much. If Risley does have a plan, what could it be? All I know for now is that his plan probably has something to do with the changing nature of the seawater. That can't be the full extent of what he's doing. There's probably a secret passageway behind the block in the infirmary, and there's something big in the fortress. I don't have enough information, so I have no idea what his chip might be.
I can't...
The sea will engulf everyone.
Could Risley have wanted to meet Father to figure out a way to deal with this crisis? If you remember, I once mentioned that Father sees the House of the Hearth as her base of operations, and she truly wants to resolve...
Or perhaps he didn't know, and just wanted to bring Father over to his side? Which could...
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I understand your concerns as well, Traveler. The 2 of you have already aided us far too much. We probably wouldn't... If you ever need anything else going forward, please come to the house. Though you may not share the sentiment, after all that we've gone through together, the 3 of us...
You have my gratitude.
Thank you for protecting Lenny when it really mattered. And thank you for sharing the secrets of the fortress with us.
Why are you being so formal all of a sudden?
Given your strength, you might not need our help at all. But if you are ever in danger, we will try our best.
Aw, the sound of that makes Paimon feel... Paimon's hungry.
Oh, you've done so much.
Alright, then we'll catch you guys another...
There can be no excuse.
Time for dinner. Welfare meals now being served in the coupon cafeteria.
Come on, let's go pick up ours as well!
Windows debug.
Traveler and Paimon! Over here! Are you here for dinner too, Missy?
Mm-hmm. And I'm taking the opportunity to prepare Miss Cloran's
Oh,
dinner as well.
Huh. You're right. She's
What would you like to eat? Yep, you can. I've already talked to our chef, Mr. Wolsey. It's all on me today, so you can get whatever you'd like.
Me too! Don't forget Paimon!
No problem. Just leave it to me.
So delicious. Is this how it feels to be freeloaders?
Feeling full yet? How's the food?
Delicious!
I'm so glad to see you all so happy. Oh, see, the expression on your face just now? The muscle here just moved. What's
Sijwin, do you do this to help your patients or to better understand human beings?
Физик. Что, блин?
A bit of both, I suppose. I'm a melazine, which means I'm very different from human beings. I must know what you're thinking if I want to take good care of you.
You're really good at taking care of people. Even though you're so short.
Really? You're reminded of an older sister?
Oh, and what did you mean back in Risley's office? When you said that you were protecting Lynn.
Oh, that. I just asked His Grace to look out for those children, especially that diver boy. I was getting a bit... Thankfully, Glorand is very strong and managed to save him in the nick of time. His Grace also sealed the pipes after Glorand left. But although the path was blocked, we still stationed some guards there to stop anyone from approach. Oh, and I was keeping an eye on Mr. Linney as well. We had to press him, but we couldn't allow him to be...
You were all super considerate.
It's just what we do down here at the fortress. At least... Oh, I really wish Monsieur Nervula would come down here more often, too. I feel like he'd like it here. Get a good night's rest, you two. You both worked...
Блять, я только оттуда. Сука. Я мог с этой поговорить, ну... Хотя, в принципе, можно и поговорить. Она ж там сидит, давай стоит. Что-нибудь скажешь? Привет.
Clorand!
Ah, it's you two.
How's dinner?
It's all right. Miss Sijwin.
So we heard that Risley invited you to come down to help, and you saved Fremen.
Oh, it was child.
Still, Paimon didn't know even champion duelists could take on some. Oh, and why aren't you eating with Sijwin and the Duke? Won't you get bored eating?
Miss Sijwin was with you. And the Duke has...
Actually, didn't Navia say that you went out for dinner?
Yeah,
First time in a long time.
in the past. You seem to be enjoying yourselves here. Things will be getting messy at the fortress soon. Don't run around unnecessarily.
Окей. Поговорили, теперь можно пойти дальше по квесту. По сводке.
So much has happened. Paimon just feels absolutely exhausted. Paimon's super sleepy. Delicious. Paimon wants sex.
Out of my way! Get out of my way! What happened? Why is everyone running? No idea, but something must have happened. Stop asking!
Походу уже началось.
Who's yelling?
О, пизда всему. Сейчас будет всемирный потоп.
What happened? Why is everyone running around? Hey, what are you doing?
No time to explain, mate. Goodbye.
Hey, wait! What's wrong with these people? They won't even talk to us.
They're here! Yeah! There you are!
Oh, thank goodness!
Quisto and Laveroon, do you know what happened here?
We came here especially to inform you. Something seems to have gone terribly wrong just now. His Grace Laveroon was saying you two are new here and you don't have many friends, so you might slip through the cracks. Haven't you heard all the stories like that? An evacuation is successfully completed.
Wait, weren't you the one who brought that up? Why is...
Hey, shut up!
Okay, whatever. The point is, you should come with us. Yeah, he said to get as far away as possible.
Oh no, it can't be that thing!
Whoa, wait, what? What? Hey, where are you going?
We have to go find the Duke! You two just go and get out! Go on without him!
Hey, hey! Be careful!
Attention! Please evacuate upwards and outwards, upwards and outwards. If you're already at the topmost layer, then try to move as far outwards as possible.
Сейчас будет потоп. Похуй, бежим. Бежим к потопу, блядь, вообще.
They're here.
Just like I said.
We have it!
You're just in time. But be ready to run. Three, two, one.
This won't hold it for long. Find Neuvillette. Tell him the defenses are about to collapse.
Then what will happen to you?
Until he arrives, we're the last line of defense. The gate. How long do you think it'll hold?
That depends on us.
Пиздец эпик.
Neuvillette, why are you here?
Traveler, I need you to head to the Opera House immediately. Farina will soon be meeting with the knave there. You must protect Farina, and make sure she doesn't spend too much time alone with her. Will do. You have my sincerest...
То есть он сам по этой пути. Конечно. Ладно, я пойду так. Эпик, конечно, да. А больше было эпика Геншин. Мне именно физика и так далее. Вот таких запустил. Ну, татуи тут. Ух, вот. А, тут прям вот так вот.
There are a ton of Fatui and Palais Mermonia people over there. Are you two the traveler in Paimon? Monsieur Neuvillette has left, though I'm sure he's already explained this should be a mostly cordial conversation, unlikely to give rise to violence. But it would be most appreciated.
О, жопа. Это еще... Это, кажется, мне пизда.
Oh, so you two are the honored guests Miss Farina mentioned.
Естественно.
Of course, of course. How could they not attend a meeting such as this? I must always have 2 or more guests at my dessert table.
It is my pleasure to make your acquaintance, traveler. I have heard much of your accomplishments. I am the knave.
I've already prepared seats for you. Come.
Perhaps you two are unaware of how Miss Farina and I do things. You see, we actually recently agreed to get together. See this? This is a limited type of confectionery that Miss Farina simply adores. There are only 6...
Traveler, what do you think of this cake?
That's good to hear. So what Child said was on the mark after all. I wonder how he's doing nowadays. You must have heard, right? He's suddenly gone missing.
Since we're talking about him, I feel like I should add something.
Oh, so you're also familiar with his aptitude for fighting, Miss Farina. Oh, right. I almost forgot. Against ordinary people, my colleague would never be on the back foot. But alas, he just never imagined. Coming from you, that's not surprising at all.
But I thought you would be happier to hear the news.
Конечно.
Of course, but it's still a bit of a shame. You see, I would have been far happier had I received this news.
Well, in any case, there's no need to worry.
Oh, and just...
Because we...
And where did he go after leaving the...
Well...
The fortress of Meripede lies deep beneath the waves. Unless he pranced right out of the main gate, he must have had to swim for it. Do you... Ah, that is good news at least. His sister Tonya sent a letter to Fontaine not too long ago. Since he was... Do you have any idea how he usually writes back to his family? Dear Tonya, your letter made me feel like we were still enjoying our...
All letters tend to follow the same few formats anyway, right? As long as the contents are accurate, it doesn't matter so much how...
Hold on. The water in the teacup is shaking.
I suppose this is also a sign of things to come, Miss.
Huh? I don't quite understand what...
Have we entered into the next stage of the prophecy?
My thanks to you both. I will take it from here.
Sure you don't need a hand?
Quite sure.
Wow. So, what's your secret, huh? Let me guess. Nah, who knows? Maybe it's just your sense of responsibility.
Sounds about right.
Day may come when the prophecy is fulfilled, and the waters burst forth. But it is not this day! This ancient power could easily obliterate an entire race. A tsunami of fury would unleash endless catastrophe. This sentence is too severe. Forgive me for overruling it.
С потопом разобрались теперь с разговором.
All right.
Нет,
Seems like the problem
разговоров.
inside has been suppressed.
Let me guess, we're safe for now.
Indeed. But
I win this bet. You owe me a present.
Very well. It was indeed.
you made a bet?
We made a bet on the size of your entourage. Cloran thought you wouldn't come down by yourself.
I figured you would have at least brought a few people along for appearance's sake. It appears I am...
Shouldn't you have gotten used to confidential missions by now? That's just how the...
So what gift must the loser give? Tea?
Чай не хочешь?
He already has tons of tea in his office.
That wouldn't happen to be a dig at my lack of legal awareness, would it?
Well, I'm sure His Grace doesn't consider the fortress to be outside the law.
I was under the impression the residents of a place like this would be...
That was obviously a joke. Anyway, you've still got some unfinished business to attend.
No need to stay here if you have a pressing matter. We all know you can't leave Palais Marmonia for long.
Thank you. I hope everything went smoothly with the Fatui Harbinger.
Надейся. Что не пиздец.
I must say, we've spent long enough playing house. Miss Farina, as the Hydro Archon, I am sure you understand the exact meaning of the phenomenon we just witnessed. Or should I say?
What are you trying to say?
At this point, I don't think there's any more need to speak as diplomatic representatives. Allow me to speak to you now as just a Fontanian. You know the prophecy by heart, and also that every part of it is being proven true. Yet, here you are, relaxing, drinking tea, and eating desserts as if it's all nothing more than a few stray bugs in your garden. Do you really? The prophecy's hanging above our necks like a guillotine. Every faction is looking for a way to either avert the disaster or save their own. Even the orphans of the House of the Hearth have devoted everything to saving, but you? It beggars belief just how nonchalant and carefree you have been.
У меня возникли одни проблемы, так что, скорее всего, на паузу нажимать буду, а стрим, ну...
You're wrong.
Стрим, я не знаю, что
I've
делать.
never ignored the prophecy, nor have I just been passing the time in self-indulgence. Retract your accusation and stop doubting the wisdom of the gods.
I am not alone in my doubts, you know. All the children of Fontaine. Oh, great Hydro Archon. How are you going to save them? Save us? How are the people you've sworn—
I have my ways, and I've been working on them for all this time. Even if you look down upon— Fontaine will be saved. Even if I still cannot see the true future right now.
Then I ask you, Miss Farina, just what have you been working on? Where can we see it, and what—
My machinations are just like the prophecy. It's—
I see. As a god, allow me to be so bold as to ask another way. Would it be possible for you to tell us the parts of your—
an emergency response plan?
Oh, that look in your eyes. Have you not even prepared one of those?
The emergency response plan is also strictly confidential.
Then allow me to jog your memory. Miss Furry, and what do you plan to do with the massive amounts of indemnitium that has accumulated over the years?
The oratories? It's just like it appears to be.
So you also have no idea. I first caught wind of this when Linny tried to investigate the oratrice in the Opera House. But even if that had nothing to do with you, then what could you possibly be working on, oh great Hydro Arc? Oh, right. I almost forgot. Udex Neuvillette is not at the tea party with us today.
Yes, that's exactly—
Of course I will. Although, I must say, Miss Farina— Oh, very well. Let's stop that conversation here. There are still a few slices of cake left. Traveler, I heard that you were recently commissioned to handle a few matters on behalf of the Udex. Why don't you take an extra slice of cake? You too, Paimon.
Thank you. Paimon will take you. Oh, Paimon's super full. That cake was—
If it's on my tea table, it must be a—
You're welcome. I'm sure the cake also felt greatly honored to be featured at Miss Farina's table. And it is getting late. Why don't we call it a day? There are still a few matters that I need to take care of.
Very well. We'll end it here.
Mind seeing me off, Traveler? We could use the opportunity to discuss Child before I must be on my way.
Paimon's coming too.
Так, у меня появились дела, так что, скорее всего, я сейчас на паузу видео нажму, а вот стрим я хз, честно. Ну, я буквально быстро приду, скорее всего, но это вряд ли, так что... Так, и вернулся. Так, что у нас? Время.
The tea party turned out to be even more difficult than I— Why are you looking at me like that? Is something the matter?
Я подумал, там люди стоят.
I'm glad that you were willing to come with me. Of course, Child was just an excuse. I have no interest in your dealings with him.
That's what Paimon thought.
You lent your aid to the children of the House of the Hearth. As their father, I would like to express my gratitude.
Всегда вовремя.
That was all. Formal topics should be discussed in formal settings, and informal topics in informal setting. I know you just returned from the fortress of Meripede. Relax. I have no intention of trying to get anything out of you. Linny, Lynette, and Fremine are still there, and
They've all been working very hard and have always done all they can to fight back against anyone who tried to...
You mean Wriothesley. He's a tricky one to deal with. It's unfortunate that Linny's so eager to prove himself. By the way, and you can just consider this a bit of idle gossip. You are outside of our disputes, and the freest person in all of Fontaine, able to move around most easily.
And that's everything that happened during the trial. Master Child was declared guilty and immediately transported to the Fortress of...
Didn't he say he was coming here on vacation? Does he not feel an ounce of shame for all the trouble he has... Forget it. He did give us an opportunity. I will be meeting someone shortly.
Do you require help with any preparations?
No need. I need to meet with Farina, the Hydro Archon. She is at the heart of Fontaine. But what's fascinating about her is that...
Oh? Come over here, you little critter, you! You dare to run from me? Stop right this instant!
My goal is just to discover the location of the Gnosis. But I didn't expect the chance to approach Farina to be handed to me on a silver platter. Anything left unguarded is usually just bait. But no one will blame someone for taking the bait. After all, it's just as I guessed in the second before I struck. In fact, this Archon doesn't seem like a god at all. And...
Who are you? And what are you trying to do? Please don't kill me!
The fear in her pupils is genuine, so perhaps she's not bait after all. Either way, targeting her has lost all meaning. I left the scene with ease. Nobody came looking for me, and nobody could serve as a witness to my near assassination of Focalor. I suspect even Farina dares not. Not long after, my informants confirmed what I had guessed. After returning to her quarters, Farina quietly cried alone. She was so scared. There's no doubt that there's something wrong with her. I began to entertain the possibility that she is not the true Hydro Archon. Perhaps Iudex Neuvillette. I have to find the Gnosis. If the Neuvillette hypothesis is correct, he is probably in possession.
Yes, Father.
My dear children, please.
News from the Fortress of Meripede. Master Child has gone missing. On top of that, the contacts and guards...
Probably the handiwork of that ride.
I'm afraid so.
This is a good opportunity. The value of a Harbinger is much higher than most would imagine. Set up a meeting for me. I would like to meet the Hydro Archon and Iudex Neuvillette. Oh, and I have an additional mission for you three.
Yes, Father.
Tartaglia's disappearance was not a part of my plan, but I can use it to make a breakthrough. With this, the initiative belongs to the House of the Hearth. My wish to investigate the Fortress of Meripede. You should know the rest. Lenny's group is quite close to you, so...
You attacked the Hydro Archon?
It wouldn't mean anything, even if you shouted it from the rooftops. After all, even... I've now had 2 chances to enjoy tea with Farina. I have to say, the leadership of Fontaine is even more inscrutable than I had imagined. I once surmised that Iudex Neuvillette must be the Hydro Archon. But now, I am a servant of Her Majesty the Tsaritsa. Over my years of service, I've learned how a real Archon conducts and carries themselves. Whether Iudex Neuvillette or Farina, of course, that is all just how I feel. Gut feelings often do. It is, however, quite amusing to me that after all my years working in intelligence gathering, don't you think Fontaine is quite intriguing? A catastrophe looms, yet many secrets have yet to... Ultimately, though, one must survive in order... You don't need to commit to anything right now, of course. I have a feeling that the situation will continue to evolve, and as your name is often connected with noble deeds, I'm sure we will work together someday. He certainly returned quickly. You must want to catch up with each other.
Neuvillette, is it over?
For now, yes. But this issue will prove quite thorny in the long term. Thank you for protecting Farina. To put it simply, I used my power to force back the Primordial Sea and reseal the sluice gate. So as expected, the knave has turned up the pressure on Farina. She's trying to feel her up. Permission granted.
Whoa. It can't be that you're the real Hydro Archon, right? You can't tell us? Then that's okay. We can talk.
If by the phrase, you guys, you are referring to Farina and I, then although I'm not sure just what you are trying to imply, I must clarify that I do not share her positions on a multitude of topics. I believe so. The fortress has a long and complex history. And now, another catastrophe will soon be upon us.
Huh? Why is it raining all of a sudden?
You may be closer to the truth than you think.
Oh? And what are you thinking?
По его одежде, по-моему, видно, что он выглядит.
The dragon of... huh?
Please do not be so surprised. Farina? My apologies.
We were just guessing randomly. We didn't guess right, did we? You're not actually the
You guessed correctly. I sincerely hope you'll be able to keep this a secret for me.
Вообще, не очевидно. У него глаза какие-то другие, блядь. Рог нет, конечно. Видно, что он как дракон выглядит, не как человек.
Right, of course. Well, definitely. There's still something.
Please, go ahead.
Well, if you are the dragon sovereign of water, and you were able to force back the primordial sea from the... Then since Fontaine's prophecy is all about seawater, couldn't you just use your power to solve the...
None of the currently living dragon sovereigns in the world, myself included. They say that when the first usurper arrived on Tivat, they seized a part of the dragon's power. Today, that stolen power is the basis of the Ark.
There are 7 elemental archons and 7 matching dragon sovereigns.
The dragon sovereign of water who lived through that era perished a long time ago. As their successor, I know far less of that part of our... In any case, I believe I will not be able to do much unless the Archon disappears and returns their elemental authority to me. Given the status quo, however, I would recommend...
Oh, so even you can't solve...
I still have some urgent matters to attend to at my office. If you have any more questions...
Please go right ahead. There's a place that Paimon wants to go too. Traveler, why don't we pay another visit to the fortress and we'll see you another time.
Take care.
То есть, я так понял, Невелет это как питомец Фурины, ну, типа как Джон Литтон, соратниц, и так далее. Если так, то, в принципе, это было очевидно, но что-то настолько. Да, блять, куда? Сюда. Вот это вот какой этаж, блять. Этот? То есть Фурина спиздила его на силу, что ли? Это непонятно, да.
Now guess, what suit will this next car?
A bare teeth.
Well, well, look who it is.
Traveler, Paimon.
Looks like you're recovering nicely from an...
Thanks to everyone's support. Oh, right.
Whoa, how did she react?
She told me that it was nothing. It was as if saving a life wasn't a big deal to her.
She didn't want to stress you out, that's all. She's right, and it's best not to dwell on it.
Yeah.
Okay, but check this out. We went back to the opera house and we...
You meant father? Did she say anything?
She said a few things that were, a bit hard to understand. And also that she's looking forward to work...
Her attitude towards you is even better than what we'd imagined. That's You should believe her. She has her own way of doing things, and she'll do everything in her power to help those she considers close.
Father is very capable.
Oh, Paimon just remembered that she thought Linny was a bit too proud as well. She said that you should learn how to rely on others sometimes.
Got it.
That does sound like something that Father...
Hey!
Are you going to stay here for the next few days?
Looks like it, yeah.
Excellent. I will host a tea.
For real? Then Paimon wants to...
Another implies that you were already served some delicious cake while you were up there. Well, next time, you're going to...
А могу сюда выпуск? Это с этим. Кем выйти с этим?
You guys are back?
You guys didn't get caught and thrown back down here, right?
Huh? No, not...
And here I thought you'd managed to escape from jail during all the commotion. I'd held you up as legendary jailbreakers, but now you're...
We're sorry.
All right. There's no need to get caught up in the details. We're just relieved to see.
Hey, it wasn't just me. Weren't you super worried as well?
Something like that, yeah. I was also transferred to work in the kitchen a few days ago. I can still hear Quisto mumbling to the carrots, or those two. Whenever he'd say that, I'd tell him I'm sure they're fine. Wherever they are, they're kicking back with...
Hey, there's nothing wrong with worried about your prison pals. Is there?
These two. They sure are a lot warmer and friendlier than when Paimon first met them.
Oh, well, if you say so. I'll be watching you to make sure you finish.
Это здесь также. Так, это и...
Sejuin! Traveler, Paimon, you're back! Are you still doing alright? Did either of you get hurt? We're fine, but what about you guys? It was a few people sustained superficial injuries, but that's about the extent of the damage. Monsieur Nervulet paid us a visit. Oh, of course. We must also thank you. How did Nervulet know that he was needed here? Well, Monsieur Nervulet has strong resonance with the hydro element. When the water level... I ran into the bombshell bros while bandaging the injuries of the wounded. They were mumbling the whole time about how you just ran down without a... If you're not too pressed for time, just let me know if you get a craving for any particular dish, so I can have Mr. Walsey get your meal. I'd like to take the opportunity to spend some more time observing your facial muscles as well. Your happy smiles are quite contagious, you know. There's...
Так, ну и Гризли. Ну как-то не забыл. Ворова. Подняться? А, вниз. А, эти, я думаю, с этим бомбой.
Courier, Miss Sejuin told me you still haven't eaten.
Yeah, I was working on something.
That's no excuse for... Huh?
Courier, Lurvine, we're back!
Hello there. It's been quite the mess here recently. How have you been?
And you? Are you still taking the secret passageway from the infirmary to work on the ship?
Yep. That is still top secret, though.
It can be a bit annoying when there are lots of people in the infirmary, but I still prefer taking that route.
I mean, the infirmary does make it easier for you to slack off.
Oh, yeah? Then why are you also here so much?
You two really are just using your jobs as a cover for your relationship, aren't you?
Not at all!
О, слезы. Сразу все.
Do my eyes deceive me, or did I just see two inmates come back after making it to the surface? Some strange wind.
We wanted to see how the fortress is doing. Is everything still up?
We're fine, for the most part. Nervulet came down and took care of the worst of it.
If that's the case, why don't you just ask him to stay here?
Oh, yeah, what a brilliant plan. Let's go convince the Udex himself to exchange the Courts of Fontaine for a puddle of water in the middle of nowhere. He came here in a hurry and left without even stopping for a cup of tea. He did remember to...
He sure sounds super...
Miss Cloran has left as well. She also took her gift from Miss Siege.
Were the gifts milkshakes?
Nervulet got the milkshake. Clorand received lipstick instead.
Those aren't even remotely alive.
Well, it's Nervulet's own fault for making Sejuin worried about his health by working so much. But besides that, our head nurse is still... Oh, and I have some gifts here for you as well.
Are these from Sejuin?
Nope, they're from yours truly. You've already wrapped up your work at the fortress, so you can return to the surface at any time. You haven't yet served your full prison term, however, so you may continue to use your...
For real? Then we could stay here for a really long time?
You may access the cafeteria. Just remember to come complete your paperwork once it's time for your release.
Так, ну скорее всего конец сюжетки.
We're back in our cell again. We're no longer prisoners, though, so it really doesn't feel the same. Sure feels that way. But the truth is, we never did anything bad to be... right? It's like we've now gone to so many places together and become friends with so many. There are so many bad things in the world, and we're just two people, but we've still been solving problems no matter. You're counting Paimon today? Aren't you the only adventurer here? Then let's ask Catherine to give Paimon an adventurer handbook as well. Paimon will also be an adventurer from today forward. Just the thoughts making Paimon giddy. The last time we fell asleep here, we woke up to a whole mess outside our cell. The primordial seawater. We should be safe now, right? All right then. Good night to you, traveler.
Что за пиздец? Ранее катастрофы. Так, сюжет качалась. Закончилась. Ладно. Ну что ж, сюжетка закончилась. Я надеюсь, все-таки Фурина гидроархонт, блять, а не просто какой-то человек. Ну, скорее всего, гидроархонт, блять, хули, блять, она же важная шишка. Ну, скорее всего, Фурина это архон, ну, как всегда, в принципе. А Невалет, скорее всего, как питомец его. Только если посмотреть, как они разговаривают, это, конечно, да. Будет здесь наоборот, конечно, так что да. Надеюсь, в 4.2 версии я буду поактивнее играть, чем сейчас, потому что, ну, во-первых, я бы хотел Фурину выиграть, потому что мне нравится по характеру. Так что, скорее всего, в 4.2 версии я буду уж играть почаще, чем сейчас, так что увидимся, скорее всего, в Роблоксе в воскресенье, либо в понедельник. Я надеюсь, я снова не проебусь с режимом, как с тем, который я говорил, то, что буду записывать. Этот режим я точно могу записывать, так что, скорее всего, увидимся в Роблоксе. Всем пока-пока.